Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Sunup Conversations. I'm glad you're here. Let me ask you something. Have you ever won an argument, but somehow still felt like you lost? Here's the truth. People may not remember who won the argument, but they always remember who treated them fairly and with kindness. Today, we're talking about something simple, but so very important: the surprising value of being fair. Because in a world obsessed with being right, fairness might actually be the better path. First, let's consider seeing the other perspective. Fairness starts with one key shift, and that is seeing the other person's perspective. That certainly doesn't mean that you agree with their position. It means you take the time to understand at least what they're saying. Many arguments escalate, not so much because people disagree, but because they fail to listen to the other side. When you pause and say, "Help me understand what you're saying," you instantly lower the temperature of the conversation. And here's the interesting part. People are often more willing to hear your side when they feel like you've truly heard theirs. Point number 2, fairness earns respect. Winning an argument might feel good for a short time, but being fair and listening earns long-term respect. People generally remember how you made them feel. Were you dismissive? Were you condescending? Were you defensive? Or were you kind, fair, calm, and respectful, even as you disagreed? You don't build trust by overpowering people. You build it by treating them with dignity. So that brings us to point number 3. Look for win-win solutions. Being fair also changes the goal. Instead of asking, "How do I win this?" you start asking, "What is the best outcome for everyone involved?" And that's where real progress happens. And it's at that point we build better relationships. Better relationships in our families, our workplaces, our communities. The strongest solutions aren't one-sided victories, they're shared wins. Next, let's consider fairness and kindness and how it strengthens communities. When fairness becomes a habit, it doesn't just change conversations, it changes the culture. Communities become stronger when neighbors feel respected, even as they might disagree. Kindness and fairness builds bridges. It heals division and it creates space for real dialogue. And honestly, that's something we could use more of right now. So, where and how do we start? Here's a simple challenge for us this week. Before your next disagreement, pause before reacting. Ask one genuine question and then listen. Look for a fair outcome, not just a win. You might be surprised how much stronger your relationships with others become. Finally, ask yourself, how many friends do you have that you disagree with? If this conversation resonated with you, hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment, and share this with someone who values these real conversations. And remember, being kind and fair isn't showing weakness. In fact, it's one of the strongest things you can do. Hey, join me next time on Sunup Conversations. Until then, take care.